What are some of the biggest hiring mistakes in technology and cybersecurity? I'll be sharing with you in today's video. Here are the top mistakes you can avoid and help bridge the talent gap. What's up, guys? Welcome back to my YouTube channel, Monica Talks Cyber. On this very channel, I share with you both my personal and professional learnings, talk about hacking your career, personal growth, and leadership. So if you wish to learn, grow, and be a part of this journey, hit the subscribe button and let's get growing. So if you're a hiring manager, a leader, a recruiter, or anyone that's involved with finding and hiring the talent for your industry, especially within technology and cybersecurity, here are the top key things to avoid to help you find the right talent for your organization and build an empire. So here goes. Number one, neglecting people or aptitude skills. We ask for a long list of 100+ mandatory subject matter skills, but often forget about the critical people skills. Cybersecurity is not just about technology. Even technology is not just about technology. There's always the need for people skills within these industries, within these fields. So don't hire just for subject matter skill. It is equally critical that you understand what aptitude skills or what people skills would be required for this kind of role and try to understand if your candidate would fit or be a good match. This will not only help you fill the role with the right talent, but also help the talent or the candidates understand if these roles would be a good match for them, if this would be a good fit for them as well. And that brings me to the next faux pas. Number two, being unrealistic or too selective in the requirements. Why do we even have a list of 100+ requirements as mandatory? When you put out unrealistic requirements in the job description, you're immediately narrowing down your search unnecessarily. I'm not saying that certain roles can't be selective or certain roles cannot come with very specific stringent requirements, but not every criteria deserves to be a requirement on the job description, and not every criteria needs to be mandatory. So consider removing unnecessary requirements and unnecessary criteria. Consider which of these criteria can actually move from must-have to nice-to-have. And this is especially important when you're trying to trying to find talent for entry-level roles. So do your research, try to find what really is the skill set you're looking for this role, what is absolutely necessary, and try to chuck out all the noise that's not needed. That will help you find the right talent for your organization and for the role. Number three, hiring just for today's needs. When we're hiring, it's absolutely critical that we take into account both the potential and the growth potential of the candidate, as well as our future needs. Because when we're usually hiring, we're just thinking of today's need. We're just thinking of the candidate's capabilities as of today. And in doing that, we're actually completely missing or lacking to understand, acknowledge, and even hire for two important scenarios. A, the growth potential of the candidate. The candidate might not check all your boxes today 100%, but that doesn't mean that that candidate is not a good fit for you or good match for you. In many situations, in many circumstances, the growth potential is substantial. So you might be able to invest a little bit upfront, whether in training, whether in coaching or mentoring, but be able to unlock a massive potential in the very near future. And B, your own future needs and goals. Consider how the role might evolve in the near future, how your organization might evolve in the near future, and how your business might evolve in the near future. Is it enough to just factor in your hiring process the need that you have absolutely today, or also considering how your needs might change in the very near future and what kind of growth potential, what kind of potential or capabilities you might need from the candidate, you would wish from the candidate to be able to fit in also in the near future. The reason for that is you obviously take into account your own evolution and find the right match, not only for just today, but also for your future needs, as I mentioned before. But the other aspect is also very critical, which is that you're able to be transparent with the candidate in how do you believe the role might evolve, how do you believe the challenges might come along the way, what kind of opportunities might come along the way, or maybe other growth potential for the candidate as well within the organization. So this is actually a win-win scenario. You're not only taking into account your own future needs, but you're also being transparent with the candidate and helping them also find the right fit, not just for today, but also for tomorrow. Number 4, not having any upskilling or investment plans. There is no easier way to say this. The moment you start thinking of starting a hiring process, think and plan into your hiring process all the resources that you'll be needing to sustain, invest in, build, upgrade, and retain your resources so that they're capable of A, continue to grow within your organization, and B, also continue to provide increased value to you and your organization and help you grow the business. Hiring process doesn't really stop the moment both the parties sign a contract. For a hiring process to be sustainable in true sense, you need to factor these investments into account so that you can have a better return on investment, as well as ensure that the talent that you attract will actually help you grow your business and that you're a good match for them and they are a good match for you. If you take into account these requirements and needs and put them into your hiring process, take them into account in your hiring process, then your hiring process will be sustainable in true sense. I can promise you that. It's important to ensure that you're able to also continue to inspire the candidates until the very last day of them being an employee in your organization. Number 5, discriminatory pay gaps. We have read, heard, and even experienced discriminatory pay gaps, whether it's based on gender, whether it's based on background, whether it's based on location, whether it's based on even age. And we have to be the ones that contribute to reducing this gender or discriminatory pay gaps. If you hire someone, you're paying them for the role that they're stepping into, for the job that they will be doing, for the task that it entails. So this is independent of gender, age, background, and other discriminatory criteria that we put into place, or sometimes even subconsciously. Your relationship to your candidate and your potential employee is equally important in that direction as the other way around. So be honest and be transparent. We need contributors like you to reduce the discriminatory pay gaps. You can be a valuable contributor in doing that. So be that voice, be that contributor, and be that change. Number 6, avoiding timely response to your candidates. This is hiring 101. An interview process, independent of the years of experience that your candidates might have, is a demanding process for them, both physically, mentally, and emotionally. So in whichever direction you decide to go, or how much ever challenges you might have in your hiring process, ensure that you provide them information all along the entire process, and you provide the information timely. And also, if you decide to drop the candidate, inform them and inform them timely of that as well. Not only will they be extremely grateful to you, but you will also avoid burning a potential bridge. Value your candidates as human beings, not as your next resource. Number 7, unnecessarily lengthy and non-transparent interview processes. Before you start your hiring process, jot down very clearly, document it, write it down somewhere, how long your process will be, what exactly it will entail, what will be the exact steps within your hiring process, and what will that comprise of. Be transparent with the candidates about your interview process. How long will it be for them? What steps will it entail for them? Be open and transparent with your candidates from the very beginning. Not only will your candidates love you for that, but you will also be highly efficient for your own organization that will be involved in this hiring process by having that clarity and documenting the entire process and all the steps in advance. I'm not saying that you cannot, in exceptional circumstances, have some kind of a detour or have certain changes, but be upfront with the candidates about the exact length and the size and the steps of your interview process and what that really entails. And no matter what you do, don't make your interview process even one step extra than it really needs to be. Don't overcomplicate it. Keep it as simple as you can and keep it as transparent as you can. We typically see these extremely lengthy processes in our technology and cybersecurity industries, and especially for entry-level roles. And then we wonder, why are we not finding apt candidates and apt talent for our businesses? Number 8, non-transparent salary. Non-transparent salaries are definitely a huge issue within the tech and cybersecurity industries. But the answer is indeed simple. How so? Let me explain. Be open and transparent about the salary that is connected to the role that you're hiring for. But then you may ask, no, it's not that simple. What am I supposed to say? I cannot do that. It's not that easy. Yes, you can. It doesn't have to be an exact figure. It will most likely be a range, and that's fine. But be transparent and open about the range from the very beginning with all your candidates that are applying, that have applied for the role or that you're considering to interview. You may ask yourself, but wait, why should I tell the candidate about the salary? What if they don't deserve it? What if they don't fit into it? How do we even know? Here's why. The lower end of the range of the salary is basically an absolute minimum that you should be providing any candidate that you will end up hiring for this particular role after your diligent interview process. Because you've gone through that process and because you've found someone that is fit for that role, that is fit to take that job, that is fit to do the tasks that the job entails, this is the absolute minimum that you'll be providing for what the role entails, for what that role will provide value to the organization, for what the tasks are contained or are a part of that role. And now we come to the higher end of the range. And this is where you can start to get creative, obviously. This is where you can say, okay, this is the max that I will go based on the candidate's potential, based on the value they bring to the table, based on the value they bring to the role and the organization. And you have all that wiggle room in between to basically decide and compensate the candidate that you end up hiring based on their potential, based on their value, based on how well do you think they fit in your organization, not just today, but also tomorrow. So since you're doing all that diligent process and you are hiring the right candidates for your organization for that role, you can be very transparent about the salary range connected to that role. It is that simple. And number 9, being aggressive in your needs and avoiding listening. This is something that is expected from every candidate, that they're not too aggressive in their needs. However, a hiring process is a two-way street as much as any other relationship. The relationship between the potential employer and the potential employee is as much of a two-way street as any other relationship. So while it's important that you assess the candidate's skills, whether it's subject matter or people skills, the candidate's potential, do your due diligence, and do a proper interview process, absolutely, that's only one half of the equation. The second half of the equation is also understanding what expectations do your candidates have from the role, from the business, from the organization, whether it's related to work-life balance, some kind of related to some other health needs, mentoring, development, potential growth within the organization, other kind of future goals, etc. So it's equally important for you as a hiring manager or leader to not come across as aggressive, and to rather also take the time to listen to your candidates, to listen to your potential employee. And finally, number 10, not doing your homework. This might sound like very obvious and simple, but I've heard so many stories and also been in certain situations myself where the hiring managers or the people who are interviewing or the interviewers have not bothered to go through the CV or done any kind of research on what the candidate has been doing professionally. While it is good to respect the privacy of your candidate and not get so creepy about it, obviously it's absolutely critical that you understand at the minimum, have gone through their CV, understand what they have been doing, and also just look for some public information that's out there connected to their professional life or that will be relevant for the role. This will ensure that a dialogue with the candidate will be actually impactful. It will help you understand the potential that it can bring to the role, and you don't have to really have them go through the entire CV line by line. And while you might be curious about their CV and your resume and the journey so far, and it's good to ask these questions, just please don't make your candidates reiterate or repeat their entire CV or entire resume line by line. That is just a waste of time, both for you and for the candidates. And definitely don't ask about things that are irrelevant to the role. So these are some of the biggest hiring mistakes that I've seen within tech and cybersecurity. Hope these can help you to understand how you can revamp your hiring processes and actually find the talent that will be a fantastic match for you, and you'll be a fantastic match for them. It's our job to unlock the true potential of the talent and nurture it. And to do that, we definitely need to revamp our hiring processes, among other things. You can be that change that bridges the talent gap. You can be that employer that taps into the potential of the candidates, finds the right talent, and nurtures it. So I hope you will use this opportunity and build yourself an empire with the fantastic talent that's out there. This is Monica signing off.